And to that end, I want to speak to a new beginning and a new start, because traditionally, what's the first thing that happens in a new year that everybody does? Resolutions, right? How many of you made resolutions this year?
I want to juice cleanse right now.
Okay, here's the thing about resolutions. It's one thing to have a good intention, which is great, okay? But how are you going to accomplish these resolutions? What is the plan underneath that is going to get you from here to there? Magali and I talked about this a little bit. At least I thought we did. Maybe I just imagined it in my mind. I used to make, and I still do, I must confess I haven't been quite as diligent about it, because it's kind of like something I default to anyway. You have goals. You have things you want to accomplish. You want to realize certain things, both personally and career-wise, right? You have relationship goals. You have job goals. You have career goals, acting goals, lots of things. What I encourage you to do, and this is what I wanted to talk about tonight, write them down. Take a piece of paper tonight, and I ask you, listen, I did this stuff and it changed my life. I don't ask you to do what I say, I ask you to do what I do and experience the benefits that I got. Two distinct sheets of paper. One personal goals, one career goals, if you will, and if you have something else, that's fine too. You should have 30-day goals, 60-day goals, 90-day goals, okay? 6 months goals, 1 year, 5 year, and 10 year. Why?
Can you repeat the template?
I will. The first ones are 30, 60, 90, 6 months, 1 year. Those are really important. And then the 5 year and the 10 year are also extremely important. Let me ask you, how many of you think that you could be a working actor to the point where you could actually open a movie in 1 year? How many think you could do it in 5 years? How many think you could do it in 10? Okay, that's your goal. Okay, whatever you believe to that goal to be, okay, I didn't expect to see anybody's hands up in the first year. Okay, you need to believe that goal. Okay, and that's the key to all of them. Okay, so how are you going to do that? Well, one of the first things you need to do is get an agent, right? Those of you that don't have an agent, okay? How many of you believe you can get an agent in the next 30 days? How many of you believe you can do it in 60? 90? A year? 5 years? If you don't think you can do it in 5 years, you better rethink your career. Okay? Well, okay, how are you going to do that? Okay? All right? If you're going to have, those of you that said, was it 1 year? Does everybody believe they can get an agent in 1 year? Raise your hand. Okay. So, in the next 6 months, what are you going to do to get that agent? Okay? You're going to send out resumes? Well, you can send out resumes in 30 days. Can you get a new headshot? You can do that in 30 days. That becomes you get the trend here. You do the little steps that you can do as soon as you can do them, and that makes the big steps happen. If you don't do steps, nothing's going to happen. You're just wishful thinking. Okay? How many of you would like to buy a condo or a house? Okay? Can you do it this year? Could you do it in 5 years? Okay, good. All right, so what can you do this year? Okay, if the house down payment is $50,000, okay, how much of it can you make this year? Put aside in a GIC or some kind of an interest-bearing account. How much can you make the next year? You got to divide it out and be realistic about this. Now here's what happens if you do this. If you write down your 30-day goal and your 60-day goal and your 90-day goal and your 6-month and 1 year and 5 year and 10 year, all of a sudden your personal goals, you're going to find you don't really want that many things. You might think you do, but you don't. And the other thing you're going to find out in your career goals, it's the same thing. Now you start to focus on those things. And it's a weird thing about the mind. Once you write these down, they suddenly start to have depth and reality for you. And because you're focused on fewer things, they manifest more easily. And you will find, if you've selected your goals the right way, that at the end of a year, you will have made about 80% of the goals that you wrote out for that year. If you make less than that, you made them too high. The goals were too hard. And if you made more than that, if you made 100% of your goals, you're not challenging yourself enough. But it's about 80%. And that's not just in my personal experience. This has been going on forever. All successful people are goal-oriented. Everybody. It's a sales tool, and I had a whole career in sales and marketing before I ever got to be an actor, but the same things apply. I sent out a resume with a cover letter, and the cover letter had every S in it was a $, and I sent it to every agent in town. And I had a little resume by that time, okay? I was in a couple years in the business, and out of what you do in the resumes, you put the name of the project and the name of the role, and and then at the other column, I put how much money I made. And then at the bottom, I totaled it up, and then I put 10%, which is what the agents get down in the US. And I sent that with the letter, okay? Now I gotta tell you something. I got 2 responses. One was from a really good agency, and I got really excited, but the guy, I got him on the phone, he says, "We're not gonna take you on." But that was the most creative letter we have ever seen in this business. And it made me feel, I'm on the right track. And then eventually somebody did listen, and somebody took me on. And of course, you will change agents, you will change. What I'm saying is they put that energy out there and things happen for you. But if you don't have a plan, life will make one for you. And it won't be as good as the one you make. I love all you guys. When you showed up tonight, I thought we were going to have like 4 people, and here you all are, and God bless you, and it's wonderful that you're here, and I want you to be successful, and I want to share the things that I know will work for you. And if you do this, I guarantee you that whether it's in your career or your personal life, that you will be able to achieve some of the things you want to achieve. And it's a life habit. Don't do it just this year. You do it every year, okay? And at the end of the year, man, you look at those goals and you went, oh my God, that was interesting. I did that, right? And it gives you focus. Anyway, thanks for listening to that. So, best book on acting ever written? Yes?
Can we get it?
Huh?
Did you receive more?
I haven't got the books yet, but Linda, Daryl's wife, Linda Hickman, is getting the books to come up here. She's going to get a bunch. We still need to have the list. If you haven't told Alberta, please do. But we're going to get them to you. It's a deal. It's coming. She found them. I want to read from this. I think it's important to convey using this as a kind of a working primer, a textbook for the course, if you will. And I like to emphasize some of the things that I talk about throughout our time together because, this is where I learned all of it, basically. And it really makes sense. You've heard me talk about a reading program. Those of you, I hope you all know what your requirements are. If you don't, let's start off the year right. 5 minutes a day, just in breathing. Just sit and breathe, okay? Just be for 5 minutes a day. It's gonna make your life healthier, let alone just help you as an actor, okay? Monologues, you should have at least 1 contemporary, 1 classical, more is better. 2 of each is even better, okay? You should be doing that daily, okay? You should be working on some scenes. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but even if you're not in class, you should be working on scenes, doing characters that appeal to you or scare the hell out of you, which is even better. The other thing is being on a reading program, and I'm talking plays, okay? I'm not talking about novels or television scripts, although there's some that are good.
Cosmo.
Huh?
Cosmo.
Cosmo? Yeah, that's it. Read Cosmo. Byron. Anyway, why? And this is what I want to talk about tonight. This came in under beats of all things. If you see that little handout I gave you, does everybody have the handout now on the class? Good. Beats and blocking are kind of something that Daryl put at the very end. I found as a working actor that I was always blocking a scene. That when I start blocking was not the blocking I end up with, but I would experiment to find out what worked in the scene, and it was something I was always doing. Beats are basically changes. Okay, everything that this moment in the scene, somebody enters or somebody does something, and now we have a whole complete energy. That's a beat. Okay, that first beat was done, and now we have a new beat. Okay, and this is where the reading of plays come in. I've compared this to a blueprint. Yes, like a builder has a blueprint. I can't read blueprints. I look at that stuff and my brain freezes. But a builder has to be able to read a blueprint in order to build something. If you can't, you're in trouble. Well, the scripts, play scripts, okay, or scripts in total, is an actor's blueprint. And if you don't know how to read the behavior that is in the blueprint, in the script, you're in trouble. Because that's where all the behavior comes from. That's where all the secrets is. It's not the little black ink on white paper, it's the white spaces, okay? So listen to this. Hopefully 3 of the most important qualities of effective storytelling are also in the script: urgency, surprise, and suspense. The alert student who has been sharpening the ability to evaluate dramatic writing through a daily reading program. I'll read that one again. The alert student who has been sharpening their ability to evaluate dramatic writing through a daily reading program. This course that I teach ain't for the faint. It's work, yeah? And you guys realize it when you get into it. It's like, oh my God, there's a lot of work, okay? Well, I don't know any other way to do it. If I did, I'd pluck your magic twanger and make you instant actors and stars, and that would be that, okay? I don't know how to do it any other way. It takes work. And the whole idea is, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to try to support you in a loving, kind way, but if it's bullshit, it's bullshit, and we both know it's bullshit. Let's fix it. And one of the ways we do that is by learning how to understand the material better. You start reading plays now, 2 years from now, you're going to read a play a different way. And you're going to see things you never saw in the first part. And part of that is getting up on your feet and working the script and, oh my God, I didn't know that was in there. Well, that's what the class is for. Okay? So, we evaluate dramatic writing through a daily reading program. A student that does that has no trouble identifying the life and death urgency in a good script. It pops off the page. He or she knows how to make the most of the writer's well-timed surprises, suspenseful stratagems, and as a consequence, will make choices that enhance those factions in performance. Bless you. Also, the actor will, this is just as important, because man, does this happen in TV and film. Bless you. Are we in danger? Also, the actor will be able to spot inferior writing, which lacks urgency, and look for some way to supply dramatic intensity when putting the story together in beats and blocking. Otherwise known as, when you get lemons, you make lemonade. Okay? If you're a really good actor, you're going to get a lot of jobs because you do that. You make bad writing good. We do it every time, do we not? You make bad writing good.
You do.
Well, you do too. You're very good at it. Right. Surprises can sometimes be imposed on material within a scene by choosing unexpected intentions activities. On the other hand, it's practically impossible to generate suspense from scene to scene when a dramatist hasn't supplied it in the first place. Through their reading program, students should have learned to find the fault lines in a script so they are aware of the problem areas before they start to rehearse. When we do audition skills, what do we talk about? By the way, that's your fifth class, right? This is first class, the fifth class. Start thinking about it now. If you don't have an audition script, talk to Alberta. What do we do? What's the first thing we do with auditions? Anybody?
Memorize your lines.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about in this class.
Go over 25 times.
Okay,
Find the traps.
thank you. Find the traps, right? That's what I'm looking for. But all those are right. All those were right. The traps, what are the traps? They're the faults in the script. They're the problem areas, okay? And when you're reading a script, I get these sides and I go, what am I going to do with that? And I solve that problem, it unlocks almost everything else. I've been doing this a while, right? And the more scripts you read, you realize, oh my God, that's in there. That's what that meant, okay. And that's why the reading program is so important. Veteran actors know how to diagnose a script, what can be done to exploit the strong points in the text, and how to help the weaknesses in the writing as they create their roles in rehearsal. In a professional situation, they don't have to do this on their own because they are under the guidance of a director. Yeah, okay. That is rare. It's more rare that you get a director that they don't want to be bothered. They got 9,000 other things to deal with and you better bring it, okay? And there are occasions, like this one, it says, should an actor have to deal with an unskilled director or just a director who doesn't speak your language or relate to you? And his advice here, Daryl's advice, is to block each scene as you're asked to, go off by yourself or go home if you're in a play and find out why you make each move, motivating it, and then you find your own way to motivate what the director is asking you to do. That comes from reading hundreds of plays, okay? Hundreds of scripts and being really experienced. But the point I'm trying to make here is, I'm not asking you to read plays as an assignment just to drive you crazy. It is part of your development as an actor. And it is a huge skill for auditioning and getting parts, and for also fixing, you put that frog DNA in there to make a dinosaur. It's the same thing. And the way you do that is you learn by doing, and there's no other way to do it. So it's important. So all of those things, the monologues, the breathing, doing the numbers every day, and a play reading program. That is your minimal, and scenes. That is your minimal assignments for this class. And of course, as you've also found out, that it takes many hours of rehearsal.